Tarehe 8 mwezi wa 11 mwaka 2024. Hujambo na karibu katika makala ya The Football Slate. Manake ni siku ya Ijumaa. Tuna mengi tu ambayo tumekuandalia. Wiki imekuwa na mambo mengi: michuano ya klabu bingwa barani Ulaya, michuano ya dimba la Europa, michuano ya ligi ya humu nchini na mengine mengi. Tutasema mengi sana, lakini tutawajuza tu tuko na nani studioni. Rogers Shtemi, ama tuanze na mgeni kwanza? Mgeni siku ya kwanza anafungwa kamba. Bro, hujafunga kamba bana?
Ni vile sasa karaoke hajafanya kazi yake basi.
Karaoke, what do you expect bro? Mlima for the first time ameenda outside the country. Watu wa mlima.
Kwa hivyo hata huyo ni mlima.
Ni mlima. Shtemi, this guy bana for the past 2 shows. Unaona vile amekuwa menuna. Angalia at least leo anakasema smile hivi.
Sasa hata unajua mtu ambaye anakaa alipatwa na tatizo la mlima ni mkanga. Si wa mlima. Wewe ni kama yeye pia ulipokuwa ukiguswa alifanya ile kitu.
Na wife yake si wa mlima?
Ni wa kule coast
sasa anashindwa.
Sasa sijui kumeendaje, labda
kuna uhusiano gani?
Labda alikuwa upande ya mlima. You never know.
Ikaanguka rateli. Kuna msemo anasema ati when ha sneezes ha feels the cold. So labda mkangea
ndio
sneeze alama watu
kuna nchi nyingi siku hizi bana. Yopo ako Kenya ama ametravel outside the country?
Nani huyo?
Unaweza kuwa mnikumbata wako India, wako Equatorial Guinea, wako Nigeria.
By them nilisikia
Kangai yako hapa Western.
Alikuwa anasema nenda Equatorial Guinea.
Kwa nanio. Umenikumbusha tukiwa kwa radio Maisha, nilimsikia akizungumzia masuala ya Equatorial Guinea. Sasa sikuwa nimejua nini inaendelea. Ndio baada ya kutoka kwenye studio nikajua kuna jamaa anajiita nani huyu. Ni kama kuna lessons anapeana.
Ama alikuwa nadhani anaongea juu ya African Cup.
Sasa sikujua kwamba kuna jamaa ana lessons na kuna jamaa anahitaji lessons.
Ameenda benchmarking.
Samahani, karibu bana.
Thanks man.
Si watu wajibamba hapa.
Kama kawa maji.
So the show haina sheria.
Haina sheria.
Sisi watu tunajimwaya tu. Karibu bro.
Yeah.
Jisikie nyumbani. Una support mgani baadhi ya kujui?
The only team ina supportiwa na watu. Arsenal.
At least leo umebalance.
Nimebalance. Nimekuwa nikiwasikia huku nje mkiongea mbaya. Nikasema leo lazima nikuje ni represent Ateta. Hata amenitoa kunipigia. Sizana hivi.
Chelsea wa mgani tena wakuna Chelsea.
Wewe ndio Chelsea ni nani bwana? Chelsea ni nani? Na sasa atakupiga mtu nani unafukuza? Unacheza kile some religious outfit.
Hata si religious ni kama ile gari. Si inaitwa Noah. Inaitwa nini? 7 seat.
Najua jana niliambia jamaa aachane na Nuhu. Hakuelewa nimesema nini. Achana na Nuhu.
Atati. Achana na Nuhu. Bro,
tena wakafunga babao yote conference Jumapili.
Najua shida ni
bro, bado sasa.
So walimaliza mabao za weekend. Sasa sijui watafunga nini.
Watafunga tu mlango.
Na mdomo.
Ndio atakuzimia mic.
Yeah. Highlight yako this week bro?
Of course it has been quite an interesting week. Most of the past weekend whereby we saw hooliganism again came back and tried to taint a beautiful game. And we saw, of course, the 2 biggest clubs in the country, that is FC Leopards and Gor Mahia. They are actually trying to propagate this thing that is so trying to kill a game. And it's unfortunate that indeed it's coming at a time whereby most of the Kenyan football teams are struggling most internationally, save for the Kenya under-17 who made us proud at the World Cup on their debut in the Dominican.
Dominican. Good stuff. Robbie, nimezungumza na wachawi wangu, wako sawa, wako vizuri, wako tayari. Sedo wako poa? By the way, Sedo hata salamu, uko sawa huko?
Niko sawa Hassan.
Hassan?
Yes bro.
I was trying to read an SMS from Stephen Kangai. He traveled to Equatorial Guinea. So I don't know what he's doing there. But once he comes back, probably he can tell us if he got a chance to speak to Gonga or anything. Yes, gentlemen, that aside, I am with Cedric Mzumba Sedo. How's the week been?
Actually, there's some sort of mix of results.
Yes.
They are unexpectable. And it was somehow actually spicing up football longevities to an extent that those teams that we tend to think that they cannot be upsetted,
yes,
they are once in a while actually be reduced to grass.
Yes, I want you to hold your thought there. Let us run what happened this entire week. We begin with the Football Kenya Federation Football Kenya Federation elections. Today, they were postponed. This is after somebody went to court in Kitui saying that they are the legitimate body that should conduct the elections. So tomorrow we were supposed to have the election, the branch elections, so they did not happen. This has been postponed. We are waiting for Tuesday because that is when the hearing will be happening. Then we get to hear that. So let's move away from Football Kenya Federation elections. We go to Gor Mahia. Yes, they lost to Bandari. 2-0 was the final score. Roger Seshtemi, what do you have to say about this? Briefly, please. The word is briefly. What do you have to say about this?
Let me just put it literally. You're trying to measure words for me, Robbie. Why? Anyway, that aside, it's been a sad moment for the Kenyan football to say, because looking at what is trying to transpire to Gor Mahia, more so the hooliganism, because losing is part of the game, winning is part of the game, drawing is part of the game. But now, of course, I know the feeling, the emotion, always run high in fans when they have a lot of expectation, but that result doesn't come. I think this is the second time Gor Mahia fans have tried to vent their anger due to the bad results on the pitch. But now, maybe it's up to the management to know how well they can address such issues. And well, for the fans also, they need to know how to exercise maybe their rights while trying to vent their anger and also express their emotion. Because having seen what has happened against Bandari and also when they played against, I think, Murang'a Seal, that's uncalled for. Let's know the best way to do this thing, because Gor Mahia is one of the biggest teams in the country. Actually, they are the most decorated team in the country as we speak. And them maybe trying to lose some of these matches and not drawing, it's not the end of the world. We are only in match game 6 or 7. They still have a number of games to come. So they need just to put their house in order. And then definitely this league will be theirs to lose. But of course, it comes down to the coaching, maybe the tactics they have. Because looking at the last 12 years or so, maybe the current coach, that is Leonardo Neiva, could be maybe their worst coach in the history, because actually he's not trying to give what the fans expect, because actually it's really a lot of pressure on him, and he needs to read very quickly and ensure he gets his tactics right to make the Gor Mahia fans come out and start supporting him again.
Brief, it's 1 minute, not 4.
But yeah, summarize everything.
Not 4. So let's move away from that. And then we had Real Madrid in action. Of course, this week they lost to AC Milan. And then this is their second loss in the Champions League, as they lost 3-1 to AC Milan. And remember, this is their second league. The second loss. The first loss was against Lille. Now, let's move away from Real Madrid. We move on to other matters that happened this week. And then it was Manchester City losing 4-1 to Sporting Lisbon. Now, Samande, that you are new here on the show, what do you have to say about this loss? Remember, briefly is 1 minute.
What I have to say is that I think they were shocked. It was a match that nobody expected actually for Manchester City to lose. It's a shocker because everyone is thinking Man City is the best of the best. But we saw it. Things change. And like I said, Hassan, I've never seen Haaland surprise when Leona. Alishtuka sana. Yeah. I remember tukidraw aliambia Teta be humble, eh? So I was telling him be humble, eh?
Lakini samani kuna kitu usemi. Nani coach wa Sporting Lisbon?
Bado hajakuja.
No, bro, jibu maswali. Nani coach wa Sporting Lisbon?
Ni coach wa Manchester.
Bas. Robbie, kwako?
On to you. Amorim.
Sema tu Amorim. Watu wa Arsenal ai.
Samande, since you were told to stay humble, you have not been winning. Now, let's move on to another moment of the week that, of course, everybody has been talking about. and it's all about Aston Villa losing to Club Brugge. 1-0 was the final score, courtesy of a penalty. Now, what was interesting in this match was that Tyrone Mings, had a penalty, rather held the ball in the penalty area, and it was a penalty. Something that, most people are asking, why was it a penalty? Yes, it is a penalty if you, collect the ball with your hand in the penalty area. That is a clear penalty. Now let's move away from Tyrone Mings. Let's take a look at the other things that happened this week. And then we had Arsenal losing to Inter Milan, and 1-0 was the final score. Not Eshtemi, because I know you have some sentimental sway towards Arsenal. Let Kariuki give us his thought on this.
That is very good of you, Robbie. You give to people who understand the team, not the fan base. Arteta is having a very difficult situation or season since the beginning of the season. I would say that Arsenal has been winning some games and losing some, but the way they have been losing, you can tell that it is frustrating to Arteta. But well, the last 2 seasons he has been performing very well. This season I don't know what's the problem. Maybe it's the fact that Odegaard has not been in place, and Arteta is has actually built the team around Odegaard, and so missing Odegaard has become a problem for them. And also I think also the refereeing has been a problem in terms of, yes.
Are you saying Odegaard did not play in that game?
No, he came in at the 87th minute.
Thank you very much. Now, the other match that was played, of course. No, Kariuki, we are moving away from that. The other match that was played this week saw Manchester United get a 2-0 win against FC Pop from Greece. Cedric, Manchester United, have they found, the right gear right now?
Actually, they are finding a space that can really give them morale, and make them come back to the game. Remember, it's a team that has been associated with winning and wins, and also trying to draw the aspect of the Manchester United that has been celebrated yesteryear. And you look at the squad that Ruud van Nistelrooy trying to put in place, the same squad that actually Ten Hag has been really trying to assemble that particular team with the philosophy of bringing young tucks into this squad. The only difference between the two coaches is that these youngsters, they were not actually being trusted maybe to trade for more minutes into the team, unlike what Ruud van Nistelrooy yesterday is doing, helping the likes of Diallo actually to start growing the mentality that equally he can carry Manchester United into their shoulders. And you can see equally when they are given that particular chance, they can't actually hesitate to pump goals behind the net. Now the mentality has really started trickling back to the team, and maybe going forward, though watching them play, you could say that they are still a team in the rebuilding. It's not a team that has found that gel that you could see a free-flowing Manchester United that anyone else would like to associate themselves with. But that winning mentality builds the morale going back to the league.
Yes, let's move away from Manchester United. We take a look at what happened. Chelsea with an 8-0 win against Noah. Eshtemi, they are saying that was a team that, of course, has the name of a person from ancient years. What do you have to say?
It is interesting to me because literally I can say that indeed the arc was just broke at the bridge. Yeah, that's the interesting phrase about it. But actually it was like a Sunday league training match, because scoring 6 goals in such a competition is just mind-boggling. And having said that, and looking now they're heading to their game against Arsenal, the London Derby, that could have been maybe a moral booster for them, because they know actually Arsenal are really wounded and they need to get a point against them. And having scored such goals, and also looking maybe the likes of Palmer was not on the pitch, that gives them more motivation. Same to Sancho. So I know maybe their coach is trying to show that indeed he has a lot of depth, but they shouldn't base their strength on how they beat that team, the Noah team from Armenia, 8-0.
Yes, so aside from that, let's take a look at the biggest games of this weekend. Yes, Napoli will be taking on AC Milan. These are the top 2 teams in Serie A. They clash this weekend. Napoli at the top of the log, followed by Inter Milan. It's going to be a very, very interesting Sunday. Now, aside from this, we also have the biggest game in the English Premier League. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge will be hosting Arsenal. We'll be getting to that later on in the show. Sedo, I want us to cook something before, we take a look at the results from last week. Deno, can we cook something? Let's take a look. Deno, let's cook. Let's cook for the weekend.
Kueleza kwamba hapa tunaangazia masuala ya shibe. Na mtazamaji, tayari tumevalia mavazi ya upishi sasa. Tuko tayari kufanya majambo na mpishi Hash. Tuko hapa Pangani, nilikuwa nimekueleza. Hapa ndipo unapoendeleza biashara yako.
Hapa ndio mtaani tunaendeleza biashara.
Pengine unaweza kwanza kutueleza viungo ambavyo unatumia ni viungo vipi? Tayarisha nipate kuonja kitu hapa kwa sababu nimesubiri sana. Penzi mtazamaji, najua kwamba umekuwa ukifuatilia kwa karibu na umejua mawili matatu ya kima chapati, na utahakikisha kwamba angalau umepata kuonja kwa wakati mmoja maishani. Wewe utaonja moja kwa sababu utapika nyingine. Naona acha nimpe mteja anaposubiri umtayarishie hii. Well, of course,
Kariuki is cooking. I don't know what is cooking, but tutangoja tu kuonja kabla weekendi. Now, Hassan Juma, let's take a look at last week's results. Kabla tuonje.
Ati wacha nionje. Ako serious.
Lakini ujamaa nilizanga nini?
Lakini unapenda kuonja sana.
Games za last week, Shabana walishindwa na Nairobi Stars. Hata kupenda kuonja. Tusker versus Bandari was postponed. Newcastle won 1-0 against Arsenal. Liverpool were winners against Brighton 2-1. Spurs 4-1 Aston Villa. Manchester 1-1 against Chelsea at Old Trafford. Dortmund 2-1 against RB Leipzig in Germany. Napoli wakashindwa nyumbani na Atalanta. Sevilla wakatoa kitanzi nyumbani na Real Sociedad na kisha Atletico de Bilbao 1-1 against Real Betis in Spain. Jana last week hii ni yangu ya last week nilikuwa na lakini Deno surangu iko wapi bana? Acha nijistick hapa. 7 out of 10. Shtabi bana. Unaonaje 7 out of 10 bro?
I think
I'm like, consistent,
like I told you last time out, I think this could be that moment whereby maybe you go top.
Okay.
And I hope maybe at the end of the day there'll be some smiles here walking all the way to the bank, because looking at those matches and the results, I think you tried. It was a trick weekend.
Samande.
Unaweza jaribu nini? Jackpot?
Sindio?
Naona unatishia. Utapata bonus lakini hautakula yote.
Chef, mko wapi ati? Watu wa Mrima wameenda wapi?
Mimi hata nashangaa kwa
sababu. Umeenda ku represent number 1 wapi?
Mimi kama sitarudi kukuja bana. Robi ananiuliza nini?
Sasa unaniuliza mimi, siulize Robi.
Let me deal with him. Nipe yangu. Sasa ona maneno. Ona maneno. Amekuwa hapa jamaa sijui namna gani. Sasa angalia. 7 out of 7 out of 10. Tulikuwa hapa na Shtemi.
Okay, mwani ni zanini by the way, just kona ile.
Kwa sababu leo niko mbele. That I am sure.
Kiburi.
Leo niko mbele. That I am sure. Tulikuwa na Rogers. Unaonaje? Ulisema 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I missed it with only one.
Yeah. It's a good improvement based on how you have been performing the last episodes, and this tells you that indeed you guys are trying to give our viewers an early Christmas, and I hope it will continue like this until the end of the year, so that indeed our viewers, those who maybe try to do it for fun, they can continue having that fun.
Yeah. Ashu.
Najua nimekuwa nikifuatilia. Umekuwa uko mbaya. But naona last week ulijaribu. At least umetai na Hassan. Naona hii wiki I hope hautateremka.
Hii wiki sasa naenda
tunazidi
juu zaidi.
Tunaendelea ile.
Unaona
tunaenda kwa mlima
Tuende kwa huyo jamaa wa kuniingilia kila wakati. Wacha tuone leo alifanyaje. Robi. Yuko hapa hata kabla uende kwake. Tulia hapa kwamba. Tulia hapa.
Angalia.
Ona. Ati,
over 1x.
Ngoja Hassan. Will you take some 10 seconds to laugh at him? Hey, we told you one day. This guy has always been having a problem with us. Today tumemshinda.
EROB.
Well,
he's been playing safe.
Samande, before you even comment, I'm glad that you're here. And for a very long time, umejua nani wamekuwa kishusha bendera.
Yes.
Sisi tunapandisha nyavu. Hey, I'm glad that you are talking about that. And you know, for once, unajua lazima upige wenzako jeki. Wajione ni kama wanajua. But let's Samande, I'll come back to you. Samande, I'll come back to you. So Cedric, briefly, one game that all of us lost this weekend was Napoli versus Atalanta. Only Kariuki got it because he said over 1.5, but Hassan and I said that it was going to be a Napoli win or a draw. What did you make from that 3-0 win by Napoli?
See, I think majority of you on this particular game, apart from what you have said,
yes,
is like they were actually basing on the emotions and also the momentum that this team Napoli has already picked by. Remember, it's a team that had gone for 10 matches without losing any, apart from the draw that they had picked. 9 games, a win with a 1 single draw. And then going to Atlanta also, you already remember that this Atlanta is a team that has over years trying actually to put up a team that is so much competitive. Remember, they actually won a Europa League, and they have equally had some kind of players who can move around the ball. They have good ball carriers, the likes of Damona Lukman. But it's a game that anyone, even me, including me, invested their own time actually to see what will really happen there. 3 goals that Napoli really soaked in was a kind of a surprise to anyone else who has followed Napoli all along since the Serie A started this season.
So let's take a look at this week's sleep. Yes. These are the fixtures that we have for the weekend. FC Leopards will be taking on Mara Sugar. Shabana at home at Gusii Stadium. They face Kenya Police. Bandari take on Bidco. Brentford will be at home against Bournemouth. Brighton host Manchester City. Chelsea face Arsenal. Juventus against Torino. That is the Turin derby. And then Inter face Napoli. Stuttgart take on Frankfurt. And Real Sociedad take on Barcelona. I want us to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be dissecting what to expect from these fixtures that we have for the weekend.